Well, I hate to do the preface, but let me do the preface. I don't hate Brie Larson. I don't hate the women's. I don't hate the woman's being a hero or a superhero. But yeah, this is alarmingly very below average. I don't want to say it's a 5 out of 10 because they did some good stuff that puts it above 5, but I don't think saying 6 out of 10 is good either because they did kind of fail in too many places. It is alarmingly not good. I don't think this is the worst Marvel film. It's not the worst of the MCU. But if we have the worst of the MCU, like Thor 2, Endgame, She Hulk, things like that, this isn't there, but it's like right next to it. And that's not a good place. So, is this a great film? No. Is this even a good film? No. Is it even a fun film? Not really. It has a few funny, good scenes, but when the 20 minutes of that good stuff is over, we still have an alarmingly over an hour of just dead weight. Brie Larson is actually pretty good as Captain Marvel, but I want to be very specific that I find the Captain Marvel myth that they're doing pretty atrocious. It's a complete disrespect of the comics. I didn't like that. However, if you are willing to accept this new myth, which I don't like, but fine, she's at least very energetic. She does come off as very fun, sassy, sexy. So she's actually pretty good a lot of the times. However, that's about it. I mean, really, when they're focused on her, she's fine, but there's not much she's doing with the main story because there just isn't any. It just feels like a lot of clipped scenes that they're smushing together. Probably the best analogy is like we have a very below average Trek episode. If Disney owned Trek, and they just ballooned it to nearly 2 hours, but there's nothing there. So the villain is actually pretty fascinating, but it will feel like a pastiche of other villains. So energetic performance by the actress. However, there's just not much there. We've already done her facing the Kree. We're just replaying the first film conflict, but just from a different angle. Just a film that doesn't really need to exist. It feels like a very corporate product to get to the next phase. And these extended cameos with Nick Fury, Sam Jackson, and these other actresses are fine, but they don't really help the story. And at least the post-credit stuff is very fascinating, very interesting, but the main bulk of the story is, yeah, it's just a dead weight, pretty boring. But again, if you just like silly, goofy fun, and if you really like Brie Larson, you may hand wave a lot of things and just enjoy her performance. But otherwise, it does feel like there was no need to make this. It was just, there's not much here. It's just a very weak story that just keeps going and going and going and doesn't seem to go anywhere at the end.